Okay, so this is the sort of what I call the junk jewellery finds over the last 12 months or so. Um, quite a large assortment of different things. Most of them sparkle at you when you dig them out of the ground. You get very excited, and then you have a close look at them and see that they're just costume jewellery. There's a few badges here, and this one here is, you might have seen that in one of the previous videos, that's a dog tag that says I've had been microchipped. So a few badges there. I'll just pop these away as we go into the box I put them in. Badges are always nice to find. The two best ones, I've got are silver ones, and I'll show you on another video. Interesting the amount of heart-shaped jewellery we find around the place. Quite a lot of little bits and pieces there. Some of them are quite cute. I actually quite like this little tiny padlock. I think that must be a charm. And all the other bits and pieces there. As you can see, there's another little heart charm there. Chains, quite a few chains. This one here is quite cute. It's got some little stones on it. This one here is quite heavy, and I thought when it came up it was going to be silver. Unfortunately, it may once have been silver plated, but I'm pretty sure it's just copper underneath, but it's a nice heavy chain. These are a couple of other just junky chains here. These are interesting. I found these two little charms in totally different places, and I'm pretty sure by the looks of them that they're by the same maker, but I have no idea what they are. Charms, there's a little bear, a shoe, a little money bag. It's amazing how small are things that you can actually find. I like this one here. It's a snake pendant, and this little lead soldier, I think he's a British soldier by the looks of him. He's got his sword missing, but I was quite excited when I dug that because that was my first lead soldier ever. Up here we've got a few earrings, some of them quite nice with some pretty little stones in them, but all just junk jewellery. This one here is very, very pretty. I would call it a cloisonné enamel piece. It's got the brass wire insert and the little pieces of glass bead in there, or enamel, and that's on a brass backing. I think that's quite old. I really do like that one. Some assorted bangles. That's obviously a little kiddie's bangle. Another one, that one there's been munted by a lawnmower by the looks of it. Another bangle there. I'm not sure about this one. It's quite heavy. I think it might be titanium or titanium plated because of the colour of it. That one there again, munted by a lawnmower, and another one there munted by a lawnmower by the looks of it. That's a little part of a bracelet, ID bracelet. I think it's got the name Carly on there or something like that, or Charlie, not quite sure. Little love hearts there. Found this one quite recently. That's just a modern piece of Christmas decoration in a very strange place in the middle of the bush in a park. I like this one. It's obviously been a brooch because you can see where the pin was on the back. It may well have been plated at some stage, but it's made of brass or copper, and it's a leaf. That's quite pretty. This was an interesting find. This is the plaque off a New Zealand Post Office Savings Bank piggy bank. I did hunt around to see if I could find the rest of the piggy bank, but it wasn't there. But I like that one. An old, or not an old, a modern Maglite. Doesn't work. And this one here, for you Aussies, you'll recognise this straight away. It's an Acme Thunderer whistle. They're used just about everywhere in the world for sports matches, and this one actually still works. That was pretty crappy when we dug it out of the ground, but it's cleaned up really well. That's one of my favourite finds. A couple of hair clips, again just kiddie's bling. That one there's a spider. A few assorted bits of other rubbish. Minnie Mouse by the looks of it. A little plaque probably off a bracelet that said "I love you." That's just probably off a belt, Bob Marley belt buckle piece of bling. A couple of assorted El Cheapo chain bits and pieces. And this one here, I found this very early in the piece. It's a kid's chain with some ruby shoes. Maybe they belonged to Judy Garland at one stage, I don't know. But that was intact, so I really like that one. And a couple of shell necklaces. This one here obviously only came up because of the clip on the end, a little bit of chain on it. That's quite a nice shell necklace. And these other bits here, surface finds. That was my first one I found, a nice bone carving, complete with the leather thong and the end. This one we found a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was a bone carving, but on closer inspection it's a shell, and another small piece of shell carving. So they're the junk jewellery finds. Oh, the rings. I didn't do the rings. Hang on a minute. This is obviously not a ring. I wasn't sure what this was when I first found it. I knew it was something because it had quite an intricate design on it. I can still see a little bit of gilding on the edges of it, and on the back there's a slot through it. It's quite heavy. It's obviously lead. Having come from a background where I'm fairly familiar with antiques, it didn't take me much time to realise that this is the remains of a clock pendulum from quite an old clock. This would have been fully gilded and then hung off the bottom of the clock as the pendulum. So I was quite excited when I found that. Junk rings. I love finding rings, especially silver and gold ones. Unfortunately, none of these are, but there's some quite interesting rings in here. So this one took me back to my childhood. Obviously a skull ring. I think that's a phantom ring. I don't know if you remember the Phantom comics. You used to be able to send a coupon away and 50 cents and they'd send you a phantom ring, and I'm pretty sure that's a phantom ring. Most of these other rings, that's just a piece of aluminium rubbish. Got a couple last weekend of kids junk jewellery rings. Again, when I first spotted those I thought, yep, here we go, but no, they're only junk. This one's quite nice. I think it's very old, obviously just in a copper setting, but it's a nice piece of tiger eye. I like that one. And again, this one here is interesting. It's obviously a homemade ring. It's just copper wire wound around and around, but obviously somebody's taken the time to make it, so it's a pretty little thing as far as I'm concerned. Boy, this one here went off when we struck it. It's only plated. It's got a picture of a marijuana leaf on the front, obviously just a resin and junk ring, and I thought we'd hit silver, but never mind. It was an interesting find. This one here was one of my first rings, just a little dolphin ring with a tiny little stone in the middle there. Quite a pretty thing. Very sentimental to me because it was one of the first rings I've ever found. And then just an assortment of other junk rings. They always give you a bit of a thrill when you see them because you're never sure what they're going to be. But at the end of the day, they are just costume jewellery. This one here is quite pretty. It's a little butterfly ring. So that's all my junk jewellery finds.